We've talked on the YouTube channel in the past about The Medium, the upcoming psychological horror game that's being developed by Bloober Team. And what I gotta say, guys, is at first, when this game got announced, I was very intrigued because I'm a massive horror fan. But on top of that, when we finally saw the official reveal for this game and really saw what it really encompassed, that is something that when I saw, I got really intrigued by. And so what I wanted to go ahead and do in this first segment of the show is talk about everything that we want in The Medium. And when I say we, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys my opinions and thoughts here, and I would love to hear yours in the comment section down below, whether you agree or disagree with some of the things that I want out of The Medium. So let's get into it. So to start for me, guys, when we talk about The Medium being a psychological horror game, obviously, guys, being able to see different, how they're going to kind of how we as the player are going to be able to traverse the world between what's reality versus what is, this kind of other dimension that you're walking through, and they kind of show that in a split screen format in this in the trailer that came out for this game. And so what I really want to see, though, is I hope that it's really fluent between the two. Is it going to be that we're going to be seeing like that split screen a number of times? Is it going to be the entire game? Is it just going to be when we choose to switch between the two? What I think this is going to create, though, if you're able to switch between the real world and, of course, the other dimension, I'm wondering if you're able to switch between those two, if this is going to be something that there's a multitude of different playthroughs that people are going to want to do just to see like if there's anything that they're missing from one, from being in the real world to this fictitious, or not necessarily fictitious, but this other dimension. That's something that's going to be really interesting. And so I'm really interested and intrigued to see how they decide to do that. Is this going to be something that's going to have, a multitude of different playthroughs? Is it going to be something where you're going to be able to play with other friends? Like someone's going to be able to control the other dimension, whereas you're playing as, in the real world, or vice versa? That kind of is other things that are really interesting to myself. One thing that I want with The Medium, though, and I say this all the time, guys, when it comes to any of these, titles out there, I want there to be a multitude of different ways that we could connect with The Medium. So I always call it a full package. And when I state that, guys, I'm saying that I want there to be a campaign, a full-blown campaign, which is obviously what the central focus is, at least at this point in The Medium. I want there to be co-op modes. I want there to be modes that we can play with our friends together. And I want there to be multiplayer elements to this as well. Whether it be, you're able to play with your friends and go up against in a PvE setting, going up against waves and waves of enemies, or if we're talking about just PvP elements where you're playing against other people in different dimensions and such, I think there could be some really interesting and intriguing, game styles and mechanics if they decided to do that. So I definitely want a full package out of The Medium. That's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours about that as well. But then, of course, guys, for me, I definitely want there to be a variety of different environments or locations, different enemies, different ways in which that we can traverse the world. And from what it looks like, guys, the graphics are great for The Medium, at least what we've seen so far. And it looks like there's a multitude of different environments and such from what they showed us. Very dark, eerie types of environments, which is totally cool by me. It's a psychological horror game, so I would be expecting that. But I'd also like there to be different, kind of different tones throughout the course of the story, different places that you're exploring and such, so you can really start kind of connecting with this world. It doesn't just seem like a dark, dreary world, but it's also, there's different light elements to it as well. I think having a little bit of a balance, even having more dark elements will make more sense just because it's a psychological horror game. But I want there to be different, environments that we're exploring, different, locations, different types of enemies, guys. I don't want there to be the same enemies that we're going up against consistently. I want there to be different characters that we're also able to, kind of learn more about this world as we go through the story. And so those are some big things to me as well when we're talking a brand new IP, that being The Medium. And I think it's really important that Bloober Team, they really knock this title out of the park. I mean, I think it's really important that having that full package, like I stated, is going to be really important for them, because they're going to want people to come back to the game over and over again. They're going to want to try to build a fan base around this so that they can continue making continuations of The Medium moving forward. that leads me to the next thing, guys, which I'd really like to see a very nice-sized campaign, a long campaign. I don't want this just to be like a 5-6 hour experience. I want this to be a pretty long experience that we're like in this world, understanding everything that's going on here. And many different ways, like, side missions and other things that we can do that can kind of build upon that legacy and lore that they might be trying to build here with the medium. I think that'll be really important as well. And, lastly, guys, for me, this is a game that's coming out later this year. It's supposed to be slated for December of 2020. And, one of the other things that I would really like to see out of this title is, having some, elements of it. You could technically say that the medium is free to play if you get Xbox Game Pass, even though you pay for that as a subscription. But I think having an element or two of the medium that is free to play for everyone would be really cool. Whether we're talking, the PvE elements, whether we're talking about PvP from a multiplayer perspective, having some free to play elements to the medium could really perk people's interest, getting people to at least try it and see what it's all about. And that could actually get people to try the full, story and everything else that's included within the game as well. We just look at so many AAA titles nowadays, guys, between Call of Duty and, Fortnite, all these different games out there that have free-to-play elements or are fully free-to-play, that we see how big those fan bases are. And I think that would be something smart for the medium here, because there really is a massive, following around horror games. It could be something special if you had some free-to-play elements to it. But those are the things, guys, that I want to see out of the medium. Let me know what you guys want to see out of this game and this title. Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more The Medium content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.